Well, a recent mishap left my wife's JLU back glass completely shattered, as well as some other parts completely damaged, to the total of $8,000. Let's see a replay, Bob.
What'd you do?
My story is the story of a man who starts off at the bottom and with a bit of hard work continues along the bottom and finally ends up at the bottom. Hey, this is Classic Cars and Comics. Thank y'all very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's roll. This video is not to make fun of anyone, make fun of my wife, or anything else. It was just a simple mistake. It was a mistake to the tune of about $8,000, but you know what? I can replace that. That's what I have insurance for. That's what we have money for, is replacing these things. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was standing outside and then, got glass all over them or anything else. So all this stuff is replaceable. This is not a video to make fun of her or anything else. What I'm trying to do is give a temporary way for her to still have a back glass and still use the Jeep until the hard top comes in. Due to it being a painted top, it's going to take around a month, month and a half, or maybe two to get all the items in to be able to get her back up and running fully again. So I thought in the meantime, why not see if I can't mess with some plexiglass to make a back window for her. I've never done this before. Do this at your own risk, but I think it come out pretty good. So stay tuned and watch.
So, as you can tell right here, this is completely shattered, crashed in. So, doubt it would ever hold weight again like it was supposed to. There's some other damage around here, but the main amount of damage is right in here. So, it's taking months to be able to get in another top. So, I am going to put some plexiglass in here to try to fix this for now, just as a temporary fix. Not going to drive in any kind of hurricanes or anything with this, just a temporary fix. So last night, ran over to the Home Depot, bought one piece of acrylic sheet. It's 0.093 inches by 24 by 48. This is not quite big enough. I just wasn't willing to spend more money for this temporary fix. This was right around $42 to $44, I think. You really need, just for y'all that might be doing you might need to do a more long-term fix. 50 inches is what it is down here at the bottom. So from corner to corner is 50. So by 48, I'm barely going to clip this to have a seal right here on each side. But primarily, what I'm going to have to come in and do is I'm going to take a marker, and I'm fine with this resting like that, but I'm going to take a marker and just sort of draw off my corners here, right down here. I'll be fine, but I'm going to come in and just sort of draw off, making a line here, and then coming down, and then I'll eventually have to go straight across down here at the bottom too, but that's sort of my initial thoughts on this. I'm going to use these. I've already taken the bolt out right here. So I'll lean it down, put a hole through here, attach it to there, and everything else is just going to be done by pressure on the inside. But that's my early thoughts. So what I'm going to try to do is whenever I mark, I just want to try to make sure, and I found that the best way to do this is just at sort of resting on the tire carrier. But I'm going to try to make sure that I have enough room for this to fold up under on both sides and that it's evenly done. And then I'm just going to come in here with a marker and mark off the edge that I need it to be. And then I'm just going to trim that out. I say it like it's going to be easy, but I'm just going to try to trim that part out. I just need to make sure both my sides are even. Okay, so I'm going to make my first cut, if you will. And this is probably going to take, do a little here one time and then So I'll move over to the other side. You won't be able to see that at the moment, and just try to do the same thing. We're not through yet, but we're getting close to being through. Supposedly you can just sort of scour this or score it or whatever it's called, and then just sort of break this piece off. But I'm gonna come in here and try to sort of pull that, just sort of grind it the rest of the way out. It's cutting pretty easy, and I'm only doing this on like a 2, so I'm just gonna come back in here and just try to smooth this out, and then I'll end up sanding all this as well. But cut this the rest of the way with my janky mask. All right, that is sawed off. So like I said, I'll just need to probably come in here and sand that lightly, but it's at least one piece down. Now we're gonna go and try to mock it up in there again, make sure that we're cooking in the right direction here. Okay, now I'm just gonna see how good I did or didn't. Any better, it'd be perfect. Might be, and I'll know more once I get into this. And I'd originally marked this, but might need to trim that little edge away right there. But, and I'm not trying to make this to be fully functional. We're just trying to get by. Just trying to get by with what we got. All right, I'm gonna go trim that other side. Okay, so all I need to do now is come in and sand this a little bit, get these rough edges out of here, just sand it, make it a little bit smoother, so it's sort of tucked back up in there. This other one, not my best day at the office, but I'll go in here and sand this down as well, get it to where it's all even and it's just rounded into this curve, and then get that part knocked out. Okay, the next thing I did was I mocked this up. I used a little bitty drill to just go in here and make a little bitty mark on the plexiglass right there. So now I'm just going to take, Dad says try a soldering iron just to try to burn through there to get the bolt size right. And so that'll be the next step. So because I'm an idiot, I actually didn't have the camera going, but I'll show you all the other side for sure. But that's what I did with this old soldering iron. And now I'm just going to try to wallow that out, if you will, is what Dad said, to be able to make the hole big enough for the old bolt. But this does go through quickly, and Dad said that it should be able to sort of like give it some more rigidity, for lack of a better word, or for lack of remembering what he said, strength. All right, so that works on that end. So that side is done, and then I will show y'all, that's already cool to touch. I will show y'all what it looked like whenever I run this through the first time. I just set it on. You can see how quick that is. So now I'm just going to start the wallowing process. I don't know if that's a term that y'all use out where you're from, but in the country, wallowing means make the hole bigger. See how easy that works?
Now, will this come back to bite me on accuracy and have I wallowed in the wrong direction? I have no idea. It's the first time I've ever did this. What do I know? Ooh, like butter. I probably put some rubber grommets on both sides of this just to keep the old watcha out. But there we go. It's done. Boom. Dizzle hit it on the head. Okay, I now have this side sort of lightly hand tightened. And what I did was I took a little rubber grommet, and this one actually fits around there perfectly. And that's just to maybe help give a little bit of a barrier just in case she gets stuck in the rain or mist or something. She's not going to be driving this in downpours, okay? I'm just trying to get her something temporary. So now I'm just going to go in on the back side and run this one in over here on this side. Okay, so this is pretty much all mocked up now. This bolt is in. That one's being a booger, but that will be a little bit easier to mess with. Once I come in here, I'm just going to take my marker, draw me a line down along this ridge right here, this line. I'm just going to come straight across and then drop it right down in here. And then I will reevaluate once I've cut the line, like I said, just coming in with this natural line right here, go straight out, leave a little excess right back here, and then cut straight down. I'm gonna try to leave all this for now in here within a certain area to be able to see how much of that can press against the tailgate and then sort of keep it secure. I may have to trim this up a little bit, but for now, that's sort of what I'm working with. So immediate future is going to be cutting this line out right here. That'll look something like this. No, that's not straight. That's hillbilly straight. But whenever I go to cut this, I will try to make it straight down. I'll just get a ruler and make sure it's straight. But that's the ultimate game plan right there, if you can see that. Just getting by enough to have it all trimmed. Okay, as you can see, we've got this in there. It's just sort of temporarily in there, but the bolts are all the way through. Yeah, there's some more sanding that you could do to this if you wanted to, but that's sort of holding in place. Depending upon how this gate shuts here in a second will depend upon what trimming happens next. And is this lip right here going to force that to break? And it may be just all for naught and I have to trim this anyway. I really don't want to do that because I'm hoping to have something for this to press against to hold it into place, but I'll know that more here in a second. Hopefully not after I broke it. Okay, so here's part of the problem that I'm gonna have to sort of draw me a line, cut around this little hump right here and get back in there. So I'll mark that out with a ruler here in a second. And then right in here, I think I'm gonna try, because that's through and it's by, I know you might not be able to see that, it's by the rubber. I think I can press right there and it won't break it, but I'll know more after I trim out that other piece over there. Okay, we got everything. Some of this tape started to get pulled away. I think this is gonna look hopefully pretty good at the end. Got this trimmed out, sanded down. Let's see now if it will shut and hopefully not break anything. Okay, this is fully shut and it's just sort of pinched in here, if you will, just enough to keep hopefully it from flapping back and forth in the breeze. I'm also going to go in, and I'll show you that here in a minute. I'm going to put some tape top stuff down on here that's a little bit of a foam deal. It'll give a little bit of an extra seal right in here as well, and hopefully help. But I mean, this is as good as I can do with some redneck ingenuity, folks. If you wanted a more professional job, you just go get it professionally redone. But we're at a point to where we're going to have to wait a month and a half to be able to get another top. So here's a little bit closer up of that damage too. I don't think I showed you that earlier. I mean, y'all let us know. Do y'all think this could be fixed?
it's pretty bad. I'm just very, very thankful that she wasn't hurt. So this all can be replaced. That's what we buy insurance for. That's what we have money for. Can't replace people. So, all right. So this is what it's going to look like. And it's more or less, it's like a double-sided, not a double-sided, but it's got adhesive on the back of this. You just peel it off. Then you stick it down on there and give it a little bit more of a, hopefully a refined look. I can't really tell right now. It does add a little bit, but the other way to do it would be to put it over here on the metal side of it. Okay, here it is all said and done. So I've got these little pieces of foam down here. I'll open up, show you that in a minute. There's things I could do to make this look a little bit more sleek and cool and professional and whatever else, and I may end up putting a little bit of that stuff right here just to fill that gap. But for the most part, it looks good. It's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. We're about to drive it up and down the road just to see how that handles. There's some stuff I could do right in here to sand this if I really want to, but this has all got to be replaced anyway, so I could care less. Let me open it up. I can't remember if I showed on a video yet, sort of what I did right here. See this foam that's lined in there? That keeps this paint from hitting anything on the plexi and just adds as a little bit of a rattle or rattle proof or, you know, barrier, if you will. And then it just buckles in here because of the way I've had to cut this in here. This is not going to be driven in the rain and the blazing heat and all that good junk. But anyways, let's take a ride. Okay, so we are at 36 miles an hour right now. 36 miles an hour. 40. There's 45. 50. It's amazingly quiet in here, even though this is a loud Jeep. There's 56, 57. I mean, for what she's going to be using it for, I think it's going to work out good. I'm pretty happy in this. I'm pretty happy. Okay, look at Mama's window. What do you think now? You don't like it?
No.
Why?
It's weird.
Why is it weird?
You see the...
Well, yes, but...
It looks weird.
Yeah, maybe. Well, what do you think? As far as covering your window. I'm not asking if it looks great, but not bad. Not bad. So, I'll take you for a ride in it here in just a second. There is a little bit of a gap right here, but I knew that going in. I've got something that can sort of seal that if you want to. And there's a little bit of dimple in here just because. Yeah, and I needed something to press against it. So I did put some foam right here and stuff like that just so the paint wouldn't be hitting up against it. But to keep it from bowing like that, I'd have had to cut it up higher, and then I didn't know what kind of leverage I'd have for keeping it, you know, smacking shut. So take you for a ride though. I got up to 65 earlier and no fluttering. It wouldn't do anything weird or wacky. Just working like it should. So overall, I guess I should say, not over and all. Better than having just a big hole in the back, right?
Yeah.
And it is misting out here, but I wouldn't want to, you know, in a downpour, as long as you're moving, you'd be fine. But if you had to stop stationary anywhere, then you would run the risk of water getting in.
And you'd have to be stationary somewhere.
Yeah, essentially.